That shit never gets old, man. That shit never gets old. What is going on, beautiful people? We are back. My name is Finesse. As always, welcome back to another episode of Bad Decisions, man. Episode 20. So a nice little milestone, I guess. Episode 20. UFC Seattle. We got 13 fights on deck. Pretty good card too, man. I'm excited for it from a fan perspective and of course from a betting perspective. So you guys are in the right place, right time. My goal is to give you guys everything you need to get paid tonight, and turn what's a good card from a fan perspective into some cash in your pocket. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. How are you guys doing? We got some people in the chat already. My man Archie's in the chat. Appreciate you for being here, my brother. Anti-Slock, that's how you feeling. Boss man D-Lo type B. Yeah, man, that shit never get old, man. That shit, the 007 menu music, man. Come on now. Come on. What is going on, bro? That might be the hardest beat ever made in existence, man. Like, we need, put Lil Wayne on that shit. See what happens. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Comment, get in the chat. If you guys have any best bets, any fights that you're loving, I would love to hear from you guys as well. So we'll address the elephant in the room first. I do have sunglasses on indoors on a live stream, so I promise I'm not a douchebag. You know what I'm saying? My eyes are ridiculously swollen right now. I don't know from what, but it's pretty disgusting. So if anything, I'm saving you guys. I'm sparing you guys from having to see that shit. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, I don't know if like I stuck my hand in my eye or like my son stuck his grubby little fucking fingers in my eye or something. I don't know, but it's not looking great. It's not looking great. And yeah, man, I've been kind of sick and yeah, man, I've been a mess all over the fucking place this week. I still wanted to get you guys at least one stream. You know, I was supposed to do two, but I was feeling like shit. But I wanted to get you guys at least one stream. So yeah, we're here, man. We're here. We're live Saturday afternoon. And yeah, man, I hope you guys are having an amazing day so far, man. But yeah, no time to waste. This card starts at 5 p.m. Eastern today. Actually, let me just, cause I don't know, UFC's all over the fucking place. Like I think last week or the week before, we had a fight canceled, so the fucking start time changed, and should be 5 o'clock. It is 5 o'clock. So we got a couple hours, man. Plenty of time to get through what we need to get through. Like I said in the little promo, man, we got fight breakdowns, we got best bets. I do have some lottos for you guys already prepped, ready. I know you guys love that. I got a nice little cheeky plus 4,000, and then we have a round robin, a scrumptious, delicious looking round robin for you guys at the end of the stream. So stay tuned for that. If that's more your flow. But yeah, man, we got big plus money fight props, KO props, hot takes, cold takes, everything under the sun. Everything under the sun. My man Capper Taylor's in the chat. Been rocking me for a long time. So I appreciate you watching, my brother. He says on Baja Monday's money line and fight to start round 2. Oh my God, Finesse agrees. Minus 125 on DraftKings. Yeah, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, my brother. I am on Baja Mondays. We're gonna talk about that fight. It's pretty about halfway through the card. So we'll definitely talk about that fight. So stick around for that, my brother. Without further ado, man. If you guys don't have anything else, my man Archie says, I was thinking about betting Belgarui. Interested to see how you think that fight goes. I'll be on the other side of that. We'll talk about it, though. Very interesting fight. Very, very good fight, in my opinion. But yeah, man, without further ado, let's get into it. So, first fight that I want to talk about is coincidentally the first fight of the night. Alexia Thainara taking on Bruna Brazil. Alexia's sizable favorite. I mean, this has been one-way action this week. I made these graphics maybe fucking 12 hours ago, 15 hours ago, something like that. And Alexia was minus 750. So large favorite to open the night. Come back on Bruna Brazil's plus 525. So obviously tough, right? You get a price like this. Our job as gamblers is to find value. You know, where's the value? What are we going to play? What do we think has value in it? What's going to get us paid? You know, not a lot of value on a minus 750 money line. The decision at minus money, I think it's like minus 120, minus 130 now. Like, yes, I think that's the way the fight plays out. Is Alexia winning this fight handedly by decision? I think that's a majority of the equity, as the odds would tell you. But I like something different in this fight, and I don't like decision as much for some of these reasons. So I like Alexia KO. So what I like to do with these props, my fucking Face ID's not working because I got the indoor glasses. So what I like to do with big, plus money props like these and things like that, I split them up. So on FanDuel, under popular, they have round combos of submissions and KOs. So I took Alexia round 1, round 2 KO at 12-1, and I took Alexia round 2, round 3 KO at 17-1. So 12-1, 17-1, and if she knocks Bruna out in round 2, both of those bets cash. So that's why I like doing that. And yeah, man, I think these prices are just off, man. Obviously, it's a WMMA strawweight fight. Knockouts are tougher to come by, but I think there's a lot of pass. Excuse me. I think there's a lot of paths to get there, man. First of all, Thainara is an absolute savage. I mean, you see it in the picture on the screen right now. Absolute savage. She's flying through the fucking air. I believe this was in Celebration. So she's an absolute savage, man. And some things, we talk about how KOs are a little bit tougher to come by in WMMA for obvious reasons, but that's what makes some things in WMMA extremely valuable. Strength, physicality, power. Those three things are extremely valuable in WMMA, and Alexia has all three of those things. Just overall, especially for WMMA, she is yoked up, absolute savage, physicality wise, strength wise, just a different level than a lot of these chicks, especially in the strawweight division. Volume is there, pressure is there. I love that, right? You need those things. You want those things if you're taking a KO prop. She throws absolute heavies on the feet. She's throwing refrigerators at you every chance she gets. Like we said, she's forward pressure style, throwing absolute heavies at your face. She's a wrestler first. That's kind of her base, kind of where she started, but has drastically improved her striking throughout the years, which is also what we want, right? You can have KO power, but we want you to be able to use that. We need at least relatively decent striking. Pretty versatile attack too. Not only do I think she can hurt Bruna with her hands, but she has disgusting calf kicks. Bruna is she's been more light on her feet recently and been more on her bike, kind of backpedaling as of recently. But when she's throwing and when she decides to engage, she's very, very heavy on her feet. So I think the calf kicks can play a factor. As we know, it takes one fucking calf kick to change a fight, possibly end a fight. So low probability, I would say, but still, more than zero. And she's very dangerous when she has you behind a black line. Alexia is, and like we said, Bruna is fighting more and more like that lately. Backpedaling, not really looking to get hit, not looking good when she gets hit. So especially in a big cage, I think there's gonna be a lot of backpedaling from Bruna, a lot of pressure from Alexia. That's just kind of how their styles clash. So, and when Alexia has chicks up against the cage behind the black line, she's extremely dangerous, man. She's not looking to point you, she's looking to fucking destroy you. So I love all of those things. Great cardio too, man. Not only does she have all of those things, right? Physicality, power, strength. Those things hold for all 15 minutes, man. That is absolutely crucial. If she only had those things for 5 minutes, I would still like these prices because they're huge. But to have those, to be a threat for all 15 minutes is extremely valuable. So yeah, man. Bruna's already been KO'd 3 times. 2 of those were early in her career, so I'll give her that. And like I said, she has been a good weasel. Not tougher to finish as a late. A lot of timidity, a lot of backpedaling. But, she's going to do nothing in this fight, as usual. Like I said, circle, circle, circle. Thainara's going to be able to dictate the pace, the space of this fight, and I think that's not what you want when you're fighting a girl like Thainara, in my opinion. So, and then obviously ground and pound. I think we've seen Bruna susceptible to takedowns. I think her takedown defense is okay at best, but Thainara is a different fucking animal. Like I said, the physicality and the strength, I think she's gonna get Bruna down, and then obviously ground and pound is I think a large portion of her KO equity. So um, it could be a bad stoppage. You know, she could be ground and pounding her. Bruna's moving and shit, and a stupid ass ref pulls Alexia off. You know, our bets still cash if that happens. So yeah, man, just gigantic numbers: 12-1, 17-1 on the combination KO props for Alexia. Man, we starting off hot. We starting off absolutely hot. Hit that like button if you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying, hit that like button. That's how we starting this card off. Um, I don't. I think Alexia's gonna win this fight a large portion of the time, but she's minus 750, minus 800. So beyond the KO props, I don't see too much value. You know, I'm not comfortable playing the decision at minus 130. Like I said, I think she has KO equity. I think she has sub equity. So yeah, I think that's the way the fight plays out. But I don't think there's too much value in really any other lines, despite these KO lines. So or except these KO lines. So yeah, man. So we got a handful of people watching on YouTube. Appreciate you guys for moving over there, and showing some love on YouTube. Hit that like button. Let me try to pull up this Twitter chat. Shit is always a pain in my ass. Let's repost that. All right, so yeah, starting off hot. Good first fight, man. I think another showcase spot for Alexia, so I'm excited for it. All right. All right, next fight of the night is also one that I am interested in betting wise. Really good fight. Surprised at the placement of this fight on the card, but it is what it is. Ricky Simone going against Adrian Yanez. Ricky, sizable favorite, minus 175. Come back on Adrian. Yo, Adrian is plus 145. So I like Adrian. I took Adrian a couple of days ago. The market doesn't agree. I got a worse price. I got Adrian at plus 120, and then I also play Yanez decision at plus 350. So both of those numbers are considerably better right now. As I said, Yanez you can get like plus 140, plus 145. Obviously, still like it, and then I think the decision is like 4xx now. So really good prices there. Market doesn't agree, which is not always the most comfortable feeling in the world, but it is what it is, man. We stick with the Rees, and we live with them. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot. You know, I'm a big Ricky Simone guy. I love Ricky Simone. I love the type of fighter he is. Just dogs in your chest, relentless, heart of a fucking lion. You know what I'm saying? Exciting fighter. Very rarely do you get a boring Ricky Simone fight. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely love Ricky, but I think this is a tough matchup, obviously, because I bet the other side. You know, there's a couple things. You know, Ricky's 33, which is not old as shit by any means, but I do think over his last couple fights, you know, we have seen at least the beginning of a downtrend. I don't want to say he's washed or anything like that, because that's far from the truth. And not only that, he's facing some pretty fucking stiff competition. You know what I'm saying? Song Yadong, Mario Batista, Lockdog Oliveira, Javid Basharat, Haoni Barcelos. That's an order. So that's like a fucking murderer's row. You know what I'm saying? In this bantamweight division. So all respect to that, all credence to that. But despite who's in front of you, you know, my eyes work. So, you know, Ricky has seemed to have lost a step. I think cardio, I think he still has solid 15-minute cardio. But I think we've seen him start to slow down more in fights, late round 2 and round 3s. And I think the Smotherman fight was kind of indicative of all the things that I'm talking about. Won that fight, won it by decision, implemented a heavy wrestling pace. But still, man, had a lot of problems in that fight. You know, Smotherman gave him a significant amount to deal with in that fight. You know what I'm saying? And Smotherman, I think, has proven to be nowhere near UFC level, in my opinion, especially in the wrestling grappling. Just an absolute bonehead in the wrestling and grappling. Smotherman is, in my opinion, and just not UFC level. So I think, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I think Ricky dominates, like finishes, dominates, no questions asked against a guy like Cameron Smotherman. But now 2025, that was what? That was about a year ago. So a year more tread on those tires, and yes, he looked decent versus Raoni Barcelos, but lost that fight. Raoni Barcelos is, like I said, good strength, a schedule, and a really, really good fighter. But yeah, man. So I like Ricky Simón as a fighter. Like I said, I like the architect. I like the archetype type of fighter he is. But my eyes work. So not only has Ricky kind of lost a step, but I think Adrian brings a lot of tools in his bag, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I think he brings a lot of things that's going to be important and dangerous in this fight. The biggest talking point this week is, Yanez's lack of wrestling threat in his opponents. And I definitely agree with that. Obviously, you can look at his resume and see, he's just not fighting really any wrestlers. And now you get Ricky Simón. So I can see how people would think that's a problem and, not make people kind of gravitate away from Yanez. But like I said, man, Yanez is longer, going to be faster, better striker, good long range striker. All of those things help with trying to fend off a grappler. Ricky says he's going to, be heavy wrestling pace this fight and this and that. And yeah, I guess you take him at his word for it. That's what he wants to do anyways. I mean, everybody knows that. But yeah, man, I think after a tough first round, I think he's going to be a lot more reluctant. I think the first round is going to be tough. I think Yanez's footwork, long range attacks, I think is going to make it tough for Ricky. Ricky's not the fastest starter in the world. I'm seeing or hearing some people making cases for Ricky winning a striking match. I don't agree with that. I think Ricky has power on his feet. I think Ricky throws heavy. But Yanez is by far the more technical, more versatile, and more dangerous striker, more technical boxer. A lot more dangerous on the feet, in my opinion. I think that the calf kicks can be there for Yanez. It's a lot of boxing, straight boxing with Yanez, but I think the body work, the teep kicks, I think he can have a lot of success keeping Ricky at range. Ricky's going to shoot. Ricky is going to probably get in on his hips. Again, I like Yanez's length. I like his footwork. I like his ability to defend takedowns. We haven't seen him much. We saw a little bit on the regionals, but the man's got to be working on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially for a camp like this. So I don't think it's a one-and-done situation. I don't think Ricky gets him down and the fight is over. I think Yanez is going to fight, man. Yanez is not, at least from what I've seen, again, the footage is not, there's not an ocean of footage on this shit. But I don't think Yanez is just going to settle on his back. You know what I'm saying? If he does get there. As a betting man, I think he is going to be on his back at least once in this fight. But if that's what it is, and Ricky implements that game plan and it's a heavy, tenacious, relentless wrestling game plan, and he has success with it, then I tip my cap. Then you're laying minus 180 on a guy like Ricky Simón, and the ticket's gonna cash. But at plus money, especially better plus money right now, with a guy who's the far better striker, way more fight changing ability on the feet, and that's kind of part of the reason I like Yanez too. I like him to win minutes, but I also think he can win moments, man. I think he can crack Ricky. Ricky is very, very tough, very, very tough to finish, very, very tough to put away. And I think his recoverability is borderline elite. But the man does get buzzed in fights. We've seen him rocked, buzzed many, many times. So what if Ricky kind of shoots up against the cage control? Maybe it gets him down. Maybe it's 30 seconds on the ground. Yanez finds his way up. 2.5 minutes left in the round. Ricky's winning the round, and then Yanez does what he does, shows that he's a better striker, rocks Ricky on the feet, buzzes him on the feet. That's going to swing the round. You know what I'm saying? I know we in Seattle. Ricky's from Seattle. So there's that. But I think that matters less. We talked a lot about that last week for UFC London. And that, where you're from, didn't really fucking matter. And on that card and a lot of cards previously. So it is what it is, man. I like Yanez. You're getting a better plus money price. I did play the decision. I think the decision is wide. We'll talk more about that later when we get to the lottos and shit. But I think he can fucking crack Ricky too, man. I have this feeling. I have this fucking feeling. I don't know. I have this feeling that he's going to really hurt Ricky in this fight. So first dog shot of the day. Not the last one either. So yeah, man. Give me some Yanez. Give me some fucking Yanez. Off a close split decision with Daniel Marcos. I think he bounces back, man. I'm extremely fucking thirsty. Holy shit. All this fucking yapping. All right. So that's that. What is our next fight? Excuse me. All right. Next fight of UFC Seattle is also one that I do have interest in. Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. Sterling, massive favorite, minus 630 up to minus 700 on some books. Comeback on Bruno is plus 460. This one is pretty simple. I parlayed Navajo KO/decision, double chance. I think Navajo's going to win this fight. I think Navajo is a much better fighter. And I think Navajo is a true prospect in this light heavyweight division. I think he is incredibly good, incredibly talented, incredibly technically sound. And just those three things are, like, in a package, very, very rare, especially at light heavyweight and heavyweight. So, yeah, man. I mean, people will poke holes. Oh, you should have finished this guy. Should have finished that guy. You know, from their couch and shit like that. But again, my eyes work, you know. I'm watching tape and I'm hard pressed to find things that Navajo does wrong. You know, like maybe footwork wise, like he's not always in the right places footwork wise, especially defensively. I can see people poking holes in his cardio, you know, late in fights. I've definitely seen that as well. But from a technical perspective, you know, I just think he does a ton of shit right, and at a very, very high level. Offensively, defensively, striking, wrestling, grappling. And he's only going to get better, man. I know he's 28. It's not a fucking, like a 21-year-old prospect, but, you know, he's 8-0. He's 8-0, so still going to be getting massively better in between fights. Yeah, man, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I think he has a very, very high ceiling in this division. That mix of technicality with just raw power, like when he lets go, and he's you know, trying to take your head off, like his shots just land differently. Like it's just a certain sting and poison, you know, in his shots. That's different in my opinion. So all that said, I think there's a perfect dance partner in front of him, Bruno Lopez. Bruno Lopez is a good fighter. Bruno Lopez is not a bum at all. Black belt BJJ. Obvious power on the feet. I mean, it's light heavyweight. Pretty good gas tank. Can definitely break guys the later the fight goes. If you're not willing to swim in deep waters. But it's simple, man. Bruno, too slow, too unathletic, too chinny. You know, we've seen it time and time again. The man's been deaded in the regionals. I think it was it Contender Series? Hold on. My brain is so foggy right now. No, yeah, I'm tripping. It might have been a job on Contender Series too. This is one of the first fights that I taped, so I can't really remember off the top of the dome. But the Dustin Jacoby fight, his last fight, dropped with a fucking jab. The Hiberio fight, absolutely fucking deaded. You know what I'm saying? The man's chin is shaky, is absolutely shaky. And when you mix that with just the fucking stuck in the mud, unathletic, extremely slow, that's not gonna go well versus Navajo, I don't think, man. I think Navajo's gonna knock him the fuck out. People might even say he's due or whatever the fuck for the finish. Everybody's just on Navajo's jock right now because he's not finishing guys that they want him to finish, or he didn't cash their ITD tickets or whatever the case is. You know, that Bellato fight, he hurt Bellato bad a couple times in that fight. The Tokos fight, I think it was, don't quote me on this, man. My brain is foggy as fuck right now. Has been this whole fucking week. The Tokos fight, I think it was either end of round one, end of round two. Hurts Tokos bad. And Tokos basically saved by the bell. Urslan, same thing. I think it's end of round two. Hits Urslan with some nasty shots on the feet. Urslan kind of goes face first, fucking kisses the mat. I still don't know how that fight didn't get stopped. A lot of times when you fall in face, like he's kissing the mat, arms are like out like this on the mat, like loving on the mat and shit. And the ref just didn't look interested at all in stopping that shit. And I think that was like 10 or 15 seconds left in the round and kind of saved by the bell. So, 5-10 seconds here or there, I think these three unanimous decisions look a lot different, on the resume. He's also absolutely fucking these guys up. Like, Tokos, he fucked up 30-27. You know what I'm saying? Like, not every fight is going to be fucking bloodbath, street beast type of situation. Urslan, same thing. Could have easily finished him. Bellato, same thing. It's just one little swing here or there. So, some might say he's due. I think he's going to knock him the fuck out. So, like I said, I parlayed the KO/decision. And is the fight that I parlayed that with, that is not next. So, we'll get to the second part. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit up the card. So, we'll get to the second part in a couple of fights. But, probably, there's no fucking hot takes here. He's minus 700. But in terms of like a pure pick, probably my best like money line pick of the card or whatever the fuck. So again, just about finding value. I think the double chance is minus 350. So parlay that, and yeah, we rock, man. I think it's gonna hit. So we're gonna go 4 for 4. So the first 4 fights I have interest in on this card. Next fight of the night, King Casey O'Neill, fan favorite King Casey O'Neill, going against Gabriela Fernandez. At the time of making these graphics, Casey was minus 120. Comeback on Gabriela was plus 100. I think these odds have continued to move. This is another fight where I think the most interesting thing about this fight, hold on, let me see the odds. Yeah, not much. Still plus 100, plus 105, some spots, plus 102, so around the same. The most interesting part for me about this fight is how off I am compared to the market. The market, my monitor keeps fucking, like, what is this, bro? Keeps, like, shutting off. What's going on here? So, yeah, that's my biggest problem. How differently I view this fight than the market. The market, from the start, has viewed this fight as very close. And slowly but surely, there's been that Casey steam, very, very slightly, 1 cent, 2 cent, 1 cent, up to now where she's, like, what's the best price? Yeah, you can get minus 118s, minus 120, so slight favorite. I don't view this fight as that close. I'm not a gigantic fan of Casey O'Neill's game. Her complete MMA game. I think she has qualities that you can't teach. She has qualities that I absolutely love. She's a fucking dog, first of all. Absolute pit bull. Very, very tough as nails. All things that I love. High volume, relentless. Those are all things that I like. But in terms of a coherent MMA, style, I'm just not a huge fan. Never really have been. I know she's a fan favorite. She talks pretty well. Very attractive, if I do say so myself. So you can see why. And she's a fucking dog. So, easy to love. But on the other side, Gabriela Fernandez, I think she has a much more coherent MMA game to win WMMA fights, especially. We talked about this in the Dainara fight. Power, physicality, strength. Those 3 things are extremely valuable with WMMA. So I will almost blindly, if you give me those three things and say this girl or this woman has big advantages in those three things: power, physicality, strength, and she's plus money, I'll blindly bet that shit. WMMA. And Gabriela Fernandez has proven to be on a level. Gabriela still gets a lot of fucking slander. You know what I'm saying? According to some people, Gabriela's a bum. She's not good. I just don't get it. I mean, I think she's proven herself time and time again. Made her debut versus Jazz the Vicious. That's probably the toughest debut fucking in the division. One of, just in terms of stylistically, just an absolute monster to try to deal with in your UFC debut. Loses that decision, but has moments in that fight, makes a good account of herself. Then the Teresa Bleda fight, very close fight. I think there was an argument that she won that fight. That's just my opinion, but it is what it is. But Teresa Bleda is a good fighter, man. Very strong, physical for the division, good wrestler. Very good wrestler, I would say. So she's a good fighter, man. So took back-to-back L's. Once she got to the big show, that fights Carly Judice. I am extremely high on Carly Judice. I think she is a one-of-a-kind talent, man. That volume and that pressure and that toughness and that striking ability, I think makes her very dangerous. I think Carly Judice crispy, man. I'm a giant crispy fan, bro. Wins that fight. Gets a dub versus probably one of the brightest prospects at flyweight right now. Women's flyweight. And then finishes Wayne Kong. Wayne Kong looks unbeatable right now. Wayne Kong was the boogeyman, the Joker, man. The boogeyman of the division. Playing makeup and doing fucking aura farming like the Joker, man. Or like fucking Two-Face, flipping coins and shit. Gabriela fucking humbles the shit out of her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she choked her out and shit, but she basically knocked her the fuck out on the feet. Wayne Kong knocks her out on the feet, basically. And then club and subs her. And then Julia Stoliarenko, it is what it is. Absolutely fucks her up. Julia, I don't think is high-level competition at all. We bet her in that fight. Obviously won. So, yeah, man, I just don't get where this, Gabriela's a bum, not good. Like, she's proven herself time and time again. I'm a much, much bigger fan of her game. Casey, like I said, you can rely on the volume and the toughness and shit like that, but Gabriela's the much better striker, in my opinion, much more powerful. Gonna have the big, moment upside in this fight. Almost all of the finishing equity, in my opinion, in this fight. A couple interesting things outside of the octagon too. Obviously, the injury concerns for Casey. Multiple knee injuries. You hate to see that. Just for her well-being, and also, as a fighter, you don't want that type of shit, like back injuries, neck injury. You don't want any of that type of shit. So that's a concern. It's been like a year and a half. August 2024. Yeah, bro, it's been almost 2 years. That's not her first long layoff. So that's a concern. That is a fucking concern. Her longest layoff before that was, so she fought 3 times, 2021 and 2022. So yeah, she over a year. I believe that was her first knee situation. Yeah, I think she hurt it in the Roxanne fight. Like during the fight, I think she hurt her knee. Had a year off and then comes back and loses to Jennifer Maia. It looks pretty bad in that fight. And I think it's a similar archetype. I think Gabrielle is much, much better than Jennifer Maia, but same kind of archetype, powerful striker, pressure, and that was the last time she took a layoff like this. And now it's almost double the length in terms of layoff, fighting a Gabriela Fernandez. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, Casey has been making strides with her striking. She's been getting better with the striking, and it showed. It has shown. It has translated into the octagon. She kind of took that a step further, right? This camp she did in Thailand at Bang Tao, or Bang, however the fuck you pronounce it. which is obviously Thailand kickboxing. So kind of furthering that, I want to round out my game, get better in the striking. Casey's already, good grappler, not a good wrestler in my opinion, but a good grappler. Let's round out my game. Let's go to Bangtao. Let's go to Thailand. Let's continue to work on my kickboxing. I don't like that. I like that for the future and for your ceiling, but not in this matchup. If you want to test your striking against Gabriella, I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I don't see Casey winning a 15-minute kickboxing fight. I think it's going to be very, very hard for her to get Gabriella down on the mat. So that's where I'm at, man. I took the dog shot on Gabriella. I got plus 108, I think. Let's check. Gabriella. Yeah, I took a unit on Gabriela Fernandez, moneyline plus 108, and then I put a quarter unit on her decision at plus 225. I do think she's going to have moment upside. That she might, we've seen Casey buzz many times in the UFC. Lipsky buzzed the fuck out of her. Who else? I think Maya buzzed her. Roxanne didn't buzz her. Roxanne had a lot of success in that fight. I don't think she buzzed her on the feet, though. So we've seen it many, many times in the UFC. So although I think she can have moments, possibly buzz Casey doing the chicken dance on the feet. Like I said, I respect Casey's durability and toughness. I do think Gabriella has KO equity, but I think the way more likely outcome is her winning by points. So 225 I think is a decent enough number to play. So all right, man. If you guys have any questions, best bets that you like, feel free to put them in the chat. Any questions, anything you guys want to talk about, feel free. Hit that like button. If you got a second as well, helps the stream out a ton. Helps new people find the stream. We all trying to make money. You know what I'm saying? We try to watch these fights, make money while we do it. So the more the merrier, right? Why not? Friends, family, degenerates and want to make some money, send them over here. So yeah, man, we're 4 for 4 in terms of fights and action. That's why we're fucking 40 minutes in and only 4 fights, but I promise it's gonna speed up starting now. It's gonna speed up starting now. So the next fight is Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. I didn't make a graphic in this fight. I'm trying my hardest to stay away from this fight, but I want to bet Fortune so fucking bad. I really do. I want to bet Fortune so bad, man. I know he's a 35-year-old debutant, but not all debutantes are made equally, This is a guy that's fought in major promotions, has fought under the bright lights before. I know the UFC is unlike any other. Don't get me wrong. UFC is unlike any other. Hold on, it's getting hot as fucking here, man. Hold on. Bow. So yeah, the UFC is unlike any other, man, and I get that. But I mean, again, this is a lot different than an 8-0 guy making his debut off a Contender Series. And it's hilarious. Multiple times this week. How you gonna bet Tyrell? He's 35, bro. Tybura's fucking 40. Like, what are we talking about? But yeah, man, Tybura's clearly past his prime. Clearly, way past his prime. Has never really liked to get hit. Has never really taken damage well. He's just a refrigerator, man. Like, we don't want Tybura laying on him. If Tybura finds his way on top, I think it's gonna get fucking dark real fast. But that's about it, right? That's like all I'm worried about, The Fae God is on Tybura. So that alone right there should be enough to play Tyrell at minus 130. I'm staring at minus 130 right now. So I don't know, man. If I don't know. I like Tyrell. I think Tyrell's a side. Tyrell wrestling background, JUCO wrestling background. Don't quote me on this, but I think he was a D1 or D2 All-American at least one time. Don't quote me on that. I know 100% JUCO wrestling background. So comes from a background of wrestling, but a legit boxer, man. Like, he has legit boxing capabilities and skills. And for the heavyweight division, I think that's very rare, man. A guy that can actually box, not kickbox, actually box, throw a fucking jab, put your numbers together, distance management, defense. He can actually box, which is that alone, you know what I'm saying? somewhat wrestling background, and you could box against 40-year-old Marcin Tybura. So I don't see why. I don't see a half unit shot hurting anybody. You know, it's not gonna break the bank. Low half unit shot on Tyrell Fortune, man. I don't know, man. I'm trying my hardest to stay away, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Chase Hooper, Lance Gibson is the next fight. I don't really have any real interest. Obviously, I think Chase Hooper is going to win. The books are telling you that, but I don't like trusting Chase at these numbers. Lance, I think, is not UFC level, so I think Chase wins, but no interest from a betting perspective. I do have interest in the fight after that, though, which is Ignacio. Whoa. Okay, so I fucked this one up. The names are wrong. My apologies. Is this one right? Yeah, so that's one right. Oh, okay. So I just fucked these up. So my apologies. So, Mansur Abdul. No, I'm just playing. Ignacio Bahamundes is going against Tafik Musayev. I believe everything else is right. Lightweight, 6'3". Yeah. So everything else is right on the page. So this is the other half of the two leg. So we talked about Navajo Sterling. I played his KO or points. I parlayed that with Bahamundes money line. Those two legs minus 145 on FanDuel. I think there's a lot of value in that two leg. I love these little two leg parlays. So that's the play for these two fights. I also a little bit of a ladder, if you will. Both guys by KO is plus 371 on FanDuel. I like that a lot. So Bahamundes KO, Navajo KO plus 371 on FanDuel. Those are my two plays for these two fights. Yeah, man, pretty simple. Obviously, you know, Ignacio, big favorite, minus 320. Come back on Tafik, plus 240. Tafik is another guy that I just think looks considerably, I don't want to say worse, like I don't want to be disrespectful, say worse, but just lost a step. You know, 3-4 years ago, I think he was a much different fighter, a much better fighter, cleaner fighter, faster, more athletic. Still dangerous, you know. Can knock probably anyone out in this division. I just don't think that's going to happen, man. I think Ignacio's better everywhere, more dangerous on the feet, younger, taller, longer, faster, more versatile. I mean, the odds pretty much tell you what you need to know. You know, I don't think these odds are lying to you. Not in this instance. So, yeah, man, I think this is a borderline perfect matchup for Ignacio. You know, round one may be 50-50. Tafik may have some success in round one and all of that. But if he does, then best believe I'm going to hit that shit live, you know. Even if that's the case, even if it's a 50-50 round one, I think Ignacio is going to pull away convincingly and really start to fuck up Musayev the later this fight goes. So I think it's a 2-3 KO from Ignacio. Pretty simple. I won't yap too much about this one. Ignacio does have subs. Obviously, I respect the submission threat that he poses. I just don't think we really see any of that in this fight. I think it has to be off some weird shit. You know, a slip, club and sub type of situation. I think it has to be that. I don't think Tafik is going to shoot. And I don't think Ignacio is going to shoot really at all. So I'd be surprised at least. So yeah, man, that I'm gonna keep it real simple. I think the odds are correct, probably even short in a fight like this. So one thing I also wanted to touch on that I completely forgot in this not this one, in this Casey O'Neill Gabriela Fernandez fight. FanDuel, I was looking last night, looking at fighter props, kind of had my eye on this shit. So FanDuel only had 2+ takedowns for Gabriela Fernandez, and it was like plus 350. Let me see if they added. Motherfuckers, they didn't. So maybe they just know. Like, I could have swore they had 1+ takedown for Gabriela, and it was like plus 150 or something like that, plus 175. If you have that, if you have a book 365, whatever the fuck, that has 1+ takedown for Fernandez, I would play that shit. If it's like plus 150 or whatever, I would play that shit. Obviously, Casey's the better grappler, but you know, we've seen Gabriela shoot takedowns more and more her last 3 or 4 fights, so you like that. and again, the strength and physicality, man. I think it could just, Gabriella can throw a combination, close distance, be kind of chest to chest with Casey and just kind of maybe grab a body lock and just kind of force her to the fucking ground. We've seen that. We've seen her do that before. And again, I think the physicality edge is going to be major. So I think she can it can be just quick as fuck. She's striking, maybe has her hurt a little bit. And then for no reason, I'm just close to you, so I'm going to grab onto you and take you down. One of those situations. So I just wanted to touch on that. I think that's a very, very good price. I'm not going to play 2+, but the 1+, if you do have that, I would play that shit. All right, so next fight moves us to the main card. So kicking off the main card of UFC Seattle, Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. This fight is hilarious, man. Watching people this week, make fucking whole videos and entire threads, and they want to sound so fucking smart. They want to sound like the smartest person in the room breaking this fight down. Like, Terrence can definitely win in round 1, but if it goes past round 1, I think Kyle's going to win. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. No shit, buddy. It's fucking hilarious, man. I'll leave it at that, but yeah, clearly no shit. I mean, that's been the type of fighter McKinney is, round 1 or bust. As round 1 or bust as it gets, the textbook definition of round 1 or bust. If this fight goes into round 2, McKinney's probably not going to win. I would take a fucking miracle. I think there's a slight chance he can win early round 2 if round 1 goes perfectly. Like if he gets Nelson down, body lock, or not body lock, body triangle, guard, play for 3+ minutes, something along those lines. I don't think that's going to happen, man. We all know what McKinney is. People fucking discovering fire over here, Oh, if this fight goes past round 1, McKinney's in trouble. Fucking nerds. Pisses me the fuck off. Anyways, what people forget, though, is, again, I love this, too. Kyle Nelson, a couple years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, it was a much, much different story. People talked about Kyle Nelson a lot differently. This was around the time I was first getting into Twitter and shit like this, 5, 6 years ago. People used to talk about Nelson kind of how they talk about McKinney. Maybe not as like dramatic and shit, but it was a lot of, if this fight extends, Nelson's fucked. Because that's what he proved to us. UFC debut, Diego Ferreira. Fight goes past round 1, he gets knocked the fuck out in round 2. Matt Sales, not a great name, I don't think. Fight goes past round 1, gets finished in round 3. Polo Reyes, round 1 KO for Kyle Nelson. Billy Quarantillo was his next fight. Fight goes past round 1, he gets knocked the fuck out by Billy in round 3. Jai Herbert was the next fight after that. Fight goes to decision. Jai Herbert beats Kyle Nelson. Dooho Choi, fight goes all 3. It's a fucking draw. And then, finally, middle of 2023, we get decision win, and then this past one, decision win. Right? So, it's funny how that shit changes. Now it's, Kyle's gonna fucking, slaughter. Kyle's a 2-3 fighter now. Kyle's a round 2, round 3 fighter now. It's crazy, man. But I didn't make a graphic and all of this for this one because I don't think I'm going to be too invested in this fight. I'm never laying juice on Terrence McKinney. I don't like betting fighters in general, even if it's -110 on the money line or whatever the fuck. I don't like betting fighters that have 5 minutes of cardio. It's just not a smart investment in my opinion. But yeah, and the price has gotten substantially worse. He was like -130, I think. And now what is he? He's like -180, I think. Yeah, he's -200 on several books. So it's been one-way action this week on Terrence McKinney. A lot of people love Kyle Nelson because, if this fight goes past 4 minutes, no shit. But I just think this is the perfect type of style for Terrence McKinney. Kyle's very slow, very unathletic, has shown holes in his durability. yeah, man, I think Terrence is gonna do Terrence things. I think Terrence is gonna absolutely fucking run through him. He can hurt him on the feet. He can take him down, submit him, ground and pound him. I think we get a Terrence fight. I think we get a Terrence McKinney fight, and or Terrence McKinney win. I think we get a Terrence McKinney win, and those all come in round one. So the price isn't like amazing. Like when I was looking at McKinney round one, it was like plus 160. And now because the money line has gone steamed, the price has gotten worse. So I don't love that. Where's he at? McKinney round. Yeah, man. Like round one is, oh fuck. Round one is plus 110 now on FanDuel. So pretty bad price there. What I was thinking about doing is like splitting my stake and just going round one KO, round one sub. Because let me make sure the prices are still there. Method and round. So McKinney round one KO is plus 270. McKinney round one sub is plus 380. So I have McKinney round one sub in the lotto we're going to talk about later. I do think sub is slightly more likely, despite what the odds may tell you. But at plus 270 and plus 380, if I put, half a unit on both, like if he KOs him and I put let's say I put $50 on that, that's to win 135. And then you lose the $50 on a sub, so you profit like $85, $90 or almost a unit basically if your unit size is $100. So I like that. I don't know if I want to risk a unit, but I like that, man. I think he gets it done in round one. That's how I would play it. I would play the round one sub and the round one KO, split your unit or split your stake in half. But yeah, man, I think we get a classic T-Rex performance. Moving on. Next fight on the main card, is one that I do have interest in. My man Archie was talking about this one in chat earlier. The real Mansour Abdul Malik taking on Yusri Belgarui. Mansour Abdul Malik minus 135. The comeback on Yusri is plus 110. So I haven't placed it yet, but I do like Mansour in this matchup. I've actually flipped early in the week before I really started anything. I'm like, Yusri is at least interesting to me, at least worth looking deeper into, But yeah, it's tough, man. The biggest thing with Mansour is, nobody questions his talent, his ability, his strength, his power, his wrestling and grappling capabilities, his viciousness, once on top. Nobody questions that. For me, it's game plan and IQ. We've seen multiple fucking times him just deciding to stare at his opponent, not do anything, let rounds go by, let minutes go by, and that shit is the most frustrating thing in the fucking world. You are a freak athlete, just a specimen of a human being. Great wrestler, dominant wrestler, vicious once you let your hands go, whether it's on the feet or on the mat. And just deciding to just not fight is just the most frustrating thing in the world. We've seen that a couple times. So we've seen that at a Cody Brundage fight, most notably. And I know the man's record says 9-0-1. The man is 10-0. We all have eyes. Classic Cody Brundage doing Cody Brundage bullshit, robbing Mansour of a win, and probably some money too, even though Dana probably took care of him, but and then we saw a little bit of that in the Nick Klein fight too, just kind of standing way too much, staring at him, got rocked on the feet in that fight, so that's the only thing that I worry about. Obviously his last fight ends in a minute. A lot of that had to do with Tricoli. Just, Tricoli kind of forced it and forced Mansour's hand, and Mansour got him out of there. But that's what I want to see, man. That's what I want to see. Why would the game plan be any different, Like, I don't think 15 minutes is a problem for him. We saw it in the Brundage fight, but, he didn't do anything for the first round. But I think the only way he gasses, and he's dead gas in round 3, is if he consistently tries to wrestle and fails. And I don't think that's going to be the case in this fight. Belgurui, excuse me, is a very talented kickboxer. Obviously, extensive kickboxing background. Biggest thing is that he has a win over Alex Pereira, who we all know and love. And typical kickboxing prototype. Long range striker, a lot of teeps, jabs, hand fighting, a lot of feints, a lot of playing from range. Shit we can expect from a kickboxer. But yeah, man, just those kind of styles, unless you have that devastating power like an Alex Pereira, I just don't like that style. It's very minute dependent. You're fighting on thin margins. You have to fight more of a perfect fight. Even his Contender Series fight against the Asian guy. Let me get his name. What is going on here, man? Like, come on. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? Belgurui. Iwasaki. The Iwasaki fight. That's a fight where, yeah, he's winning. He's outpointing the guy. But that's why Dana was disgusted. It's a thin margins, close distance kickboxing fight against a guy that doesn't deserve to be in the UFC. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with the kickboxing style, the point, thin margin type of style. And I don't think that's going to fly with a guy like Mansour. Even if Mansour decides, again, to be a moron, let's stay at distance. Let's fucking pussy fight for 3 or 4 minutes. I think Belgurui is going to piece him up a little bit. Belgurui is going to be winning. But I think all it's going to take is for Mansour to kind of flip that switch, I'm a fucking dog here right here, bro. Shit is bothering me. That's all it's going to take is for him to flip that switch. So I think when he wants takedowns, he's going to get them. Belgurui has been drilling the takedown defense. Obviously, that's probably all you should be training once you get to the UFC because of your background. So yeah, he's been drilling in this shit, but still, I think a lot of his defense comes up against the cage, and a lot of his defense he uses his length for. And you're not fighting a small guy. Like I put the graphics down, but like we saw it at the face-off too. Like obviously he's the taller guy. He's fucking 6'6" for crying out loud. But Mansour 6'2", 79.5-inch reach. A longer reach than Belgurui. As tall of a fucking glass of milk as Belgurui is, Mansour is still a bigger reach by 1/2 inch. That's very important. I think Mansour is going to be more equipped to handle Belgurui's length when it comes to the wrestling defense. Once Belgurui's on his back, we've seen him get up fast, but against who? Against guys that are not on Mansour's level. You do not want to be on your back against Mansour. The fight can be over shortly thereafter. You know what I'm saying? So I like Mansour. I think he gets his game going. I think he's still, despite his last couple of fights, some flooziness, if you will, in his last couple fights. I think he's still a bright prospect in his middleweight division. And I think we're going to look back on this and be like, damn, we got a discount. It was a discounted price because of his last couple performances and because this is a step up in competition. No doubt about it. Usury does present problems. Can be a tough puzzle to solve, but only if Mansour makes it a tough puzzle. Close the fucking distance, get your hands on this dude, and finish him. It's really as simple as that. So I like the Mansour side. I wasn't in love with any of the prices in terms of finishing and shit, but yeah, man, I think it's going to be a sub. I think it's more likely to be a sub. So let's check what those prices are, shall we? So Belgurui. Wow, I didn't expect that. So Mansour by sub is plus 700. That's a pretty good price. I will play that. 2-3 sub is interesting as well. I will play that for sure. Could be club and sub. Could be a transitional wrapping the neck up. Could be he's pounding his fucking face in from top position. User returns, gives his back up. Mansour locks up a rear naked. Could be any one of those things. moving on. Feature bout of the evening. The good old-fashioned double retirement fight. Michael Chiesa going against the legend Nico Price. Michael Chiesa, gigantic favorite, minus 750. Come back on Nico is plus 575. So this is the fight. Last time I said this actually was the Jose Delgado fight when he fought Andre Philly. I was like, yo, this fight is going to get us fucking paid. This is the one. This is the fight that is going to get us paid. And I paid. I'm the one that fucking paid. I was heavy on under 2.5. Delgado ITD. I was heavy on those things. Those things did not hit. But with that said, I think this is the fight that's going to get us paid. So what I played in this fight, these are the first lines that I locked in this week. I played the under 2.5 in this fight, which is still, I played it at minus 160. It's minus 175 now. I think that's still plenty of value still left on that line. Excuse me. So, yeah, Chiesa price under 2.5 rounds, minus 160. I played Chiesa round 1, round 2 win at plus 100. And I played round 1, round 2 KO for Chiesa at plus 1,200. No, a little bit of a hot take. Not as hot as I thought it was going to be. I see a couple of people on it this week. Some people that I respect, which is few and far between, in this fucking Twitter cesspool. But yeah, I love all of those things. Obviously, playing the under 2.5, I think Michael Chiesa is going to win inside the distance. The problem with that is the price wasn't too far off from the under 2.5. So I'm not going to play one side finish when the under 2.5 is close enough to the same price. So I think Chiesa gets it done within 10 minutes. I think most likely is by sub. You know, we know what Nico is, man. If you watch MMA, you've kind of seen the downslope of Nico Price. Shout out to him, though. Absolute, dog. Absolute savage. He going to go in there. He going to fight. I'll give him that. He going to die on his fucking shield. So shout out to him. He got 17 kids to feed. And he feeds every single one of them motherfuckers. He feeds every single one. So shout out to you. Seems like a great guy too, but we know where he's at. At this point in his career. When was this? 30 days ago? 40 days ago? February 7th. So that's like, bro, what is that? That's like 50 days ago or something? Like 50 days ago. He fought a fight versus Vertenikov. And if you have not watched that finish, please go watch it. Please go watch it. Let me see if let's see. I'll show it if even though it might get me fucking banned. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Hopefully this shit don't get me banned. Or a strike or whatever the fuck. Does this work? Nope. Screen. Okay.
Finessethebooks and Price, both 36
oh, it's the full
years
fight?
old.
Oh no.
Finessethebooks 1 inch taller at
Okay.
6'1".
Here we go.
He's in a lot of trouble here. Yeah, keeping him along the fence.
Nico needs to get away from this turnbuckle.
Oh, nasty right-handed and knee.
Oh my god. Bro, he doesn't know where the fuck he is right now. He's thinking about what he had for dinner last night.
That's the biggest and most impressive win. Sounds like
Yikes.
He's in a lot of trouble here. Yeah, keeping him along the fence.
Nico needs to get away from this turnbuckle.
Oh my god. Look, he's out right there. And then elbow. Yeah, man. I don't know. That was 50 days ago. 50-something days ago. So we've seen him rock with jabs. We've seen him rock from punches that barely land. We saw what just happened 50 days ago. Not good for your health, man. Not good for your brain health. Not good for the fucking space in between your brain and your head. I don't know the science on it, but it's just not good overall, man. Not good overall. So Nico is completely shot. I don't use the word wash, but I mean, come on now. Come on. So he's fighting Mike Chiesa. Chiesa talked this week and was getting emotional because he feels like he has a lot left in the tank and he's retiring probably early. You know, we've seen Michael Chiesa obviously lose a step too. Like, what is he? He's fucking, let's go back to the fight shit. How old is good old Mike? 38. Yeah, he's 38. 2 years older than Nico, you know, but I think just at way different points in their career. You know, both of them are retiring, but I feel like they're a little bit of a different situations. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Michael Chiesa has not recorded a knockout in his entire pro career. 26 pro fights, never recorded a knockout. Now he's fighting in his hometown, retirement fight. That's some storybook shit right there. You know, why not? You think he's not a little inkling in the back of his head? You know, they asked him this during press. It was like, you don't have a KO. Would it be sweet to get your first KO in your retirement fight? And he's like, I don't want to disrespect the game. I'm not going to disrespect my opponent and all of that. You know, the PC answer. But you got to think that he's thinking that shit in the back of his head. Like, Michael does not have power on the feet. He's not a technical striker by any means. But Nico can literally get knocked out by accident. You know, it can be ground and pound that you don't even think is going to do any damage. And Nico can fucking go out. Chiesa can throw a punch to close distance and knock him out by accident. I truly feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the hot take of the week right there. You know, round 1, round 2 KO, Michael Chiesa plus 1,200. Can come a variety of different ways, like I said. But, yeah, man. Obviously, that's a lot less likely than Chiesa getting his game going, taking advantage of the incredibly unathletic, incredibly janky Nico Price, get his hands on him, take him down, choke him out. And I think that's what's going to happen very early in this fight. So, yeah, simple as that. Simple as that. Chiesa Price under 2.5 rounds. Chiesa round 1, round 2 win plus 100. And Michael Chiesa round 1, round 2 KO at 12-1. We'll talk more about that when we get to the lottos. So, but shout out to both, man. Shout out to both. Retirement fights, moving to the next chapter of their lives. That's in my cap, man. The next fight is the co-main. I didn't make graphics on it. I don't have any action. I'll give it the respect, you know, to talk about it. It's really good fight, man. Alexa Grasso, Macy Barber. Could damn well be a number 1 contender fight, especially for Macy Barber. So, yeah, man, really good fight. I'm a huge fan of Macy Barber. A lot of people aren't because of her personality, but she just like me for real. She just like me for real. Macy Barber, asshole. Macy Barber's an asshole. So I feel that in my heart, you know. People don't like assholes, you know, but I just feel like she be keeping it real, you know. People just don't like that shit. If she think like, yo, I'm better than you, I'm gonna fucking choke you the fuck out, she say that shit. You know, I don't got a problem with that. I like that shit. I like that shit. Yeah, I think Macy wins this fight. I just hate the price. You know, I think Alexa is being undervalued this week. I think the market is disrespecting her a bit. Like, how much equity do we want to put, or how much do we want to take from Alexa Grasso over the last couple of years? She's fought Valentina Shevchenko, one of, if not the best women's fighter to ever grace the fucking earth. She fought her 3 times, and then she fought Natalia Silva, who's one of the best WMMA fighters on the planet right now. Probably the next champion of the world. So those were her last 4 fights, spanning like 2 or 3 years. Spanning 4 years. 3.5. Spanning 3.5 years. Those were her last 4 fights. And not only does she have a win over Valentina, she has a draw too. You know, so say what you want. She lost that fight. She won that fight. I thought she lost that fight. But she was fucking giving it to Valentina. You know what I'm saying? Giving Valentina all she can handle. And that was 3 years ago. You know, so 2.5 years ago. So, yeah, man. Like, I like Macy purely based on tenacity, pressure, will to win. I think that's how Macy wins this fight. She's not a better striker, in my opinion. She's not a better submission threat. She does not have cleaner BJJ, in my opinion, than Alexa. So yeah, all of those disadvantages, but she's a fucking dog on a bone. She's relentless, you know, and I think that's what's gonna win her this fight. I think she's gonna win a decision. But, you know, if you're asking me money line side, you know, gun to my head, which side is the value side? I think it's Alexa, man. Alexa money line and Alexa by decision is almost the same price, but like Alexa money line right now is plus 160. Now, it's come down a bit, but yeah, man, it would be dog or pass, but it's a pass because I like Macy. I think she wins this fight. I just hate the price, man. I'm not looking to back Macy in this echelon of fighters at minus 200. I'm just not interested. So, yeah, we do have some Macy action in a lotto though, so we'll get to that in just a second. Good co-main though. Good co-main. I'm excited for it. Main event of UFC Seattle. Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya, one of the best middleweights to ever do it. Obviously, former two-time champ. Taking on Joe Body Bags Pyfer. Israel favored in this matchup, minus 140. The comeback on Joey Body Bags is plus 120. I don't have any action in this fight as of right now. Again, I wanted to give it its respect. It's the fucking main event. Really good main event. Very compelling main event, in my opinion. This fight has had my brain in a pretzel all week. This fight confuses the fuck out of me. I don't have a good read, you know, and it's okay to fucking say that. You know, everybody wants to be the smartest person in the room. It's okay to not have a great read, you know. This shit gonna happen sometimes. It's fighting. Pure pick wise, I do think Izzy wins this fight. I think we get a y'all must have forgot moment. Izzy by decision is very, very interesting. Like I might play that. If the night is going extremely well, then I will play Izzy. I think this is going to be a very frustrating fight for Joe. You know, Joe, I think it's pretty clear and evident what Joe does well. Good wrestler, decent grappler, decent at best, devastating power in his hands. I mean, I think that's like the file on Joe. You know what I'm saying? We obviously know that Izzy brings a lot more to the table than that. I think Izzy is the overall better fighter, the obvious things, better strength of competition, better UFC schedule, more experience at this level, more experience in main events, you know, all of those things. Obviously, Izzy's 36. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, which people love to point out. But, you know, his last 4 losses have come to the best middleweights on the planet. Imavov, DDP, Strickland, Poatan. So, you know, I think there's some fucking grace here, you know. And the first Pereira fight would have looked a lot different, you know, if there was 3 more seconds in round 1. I think we all remember that. There was 5 more fucking seconds in round 1. That's a Izzy round 1 KO over the fucking boogeyman, the guy that was chasing him for 10 fucking years, you know? And I think the story is a lot different, obviously. But yeah, losing to the best middleweights on the planet. And, you know, the last look was not a good one. Maybe even the last 2 looks. You know, I think he was winning the DDP fight. I bet him in that fight. I think he was winning the DDP fight. And then the goofiest fucking shit you've ever seen. Classic DDP. You know, Adesanya, I think, still to this day, you know, still to this day, I think Adesanya rocks him in round 4. DDP goes face first, grabs onto a leg for dear life. Israel's somehow not athletic enough to fucking twirl out of there. Probably the age, you know, they're losing a step and shit. And DDP finds his back, chokes him out. Not a great look, but I think he was winning that fight. And I think that just came off a very goofy transition. And then the Imavov fight, man. A guy that's very fast, very dangerous. You know, a Frenchie, you know. You know? Just very dangerous from the outside. Extremely fast hand speed. And he got caught. You know, he got caught. So, in a fight like this, I think it's a lot different. You know, I think Pyfer brings some of that hand speed, but not with the straight punches. You know, I think shit like that is very different in a matchup like this. I think Izzy's going to frustrate him from range. I think Izzy can absolutely destroy Joe Pyfer's calf. We saw Hermanson do it. We've seen his calf be attacked in almost every single one of his fights. So, yeah, man, Izzy's taller, longer, better distance striker, better minute winner. You just got to worry about Joe catching him. You know, and how likely is it that Joe's going to catch him after 10 minutes, 10 and a half minutes? I think the likelihood, you know, decreases a bunch, you know, after middle of round 2, end of round, or I'm sorry, middle of round 3, end of round 3. I think that equity drastically declines and decreases, you know? So, yes, if you bet Izzy, your butthole probably going to be puckered a ton, you know, like a fucking Cheerio for the first round and a half, probably, you know, and Izzy's going to have to avoid the huge shot. But, you know, we've seen Izzy be able to fight through adversity. It's going to be tougher at 36, coming off a knockout, you know, but he took over a year off after that, which I like to see. You know, who am I to doubt Izzy? That's what everybody's doing this week. You know, oh, Izzy want to retire. Oh, Izzy's head is not in the game. You know, Izzy's washed and all of that shit. People love to say that shit for clicks and all of that and to sound smart. Who am I to say where his motivation is at? You know, maybe he's motivated as fuck. Yo, I just got knocked the fuck out, you know, by a guy that I probably, in my opinion, shouldn't be getting knocked the fuck out by. You know, who's to say he doesn't have that fire in his belly to get that one back against a young up-and-comer, a guy that's really not on his fucking level. A guy that just basically got fucking absolutely outclassed by Jack Hermanson, who's another aging fighter, nowhere near the skill level on the feet of a guy like Izzy. And that was 2 years ago. Absolutely fucking schooled by Jack Hermanson. You know, couldn't get the takedowns. The wrestling looked dog shit in that fight. You know, the Kelvin Gastelum fight, he won that fight, no question about it. But was that an easy fight? Nah, bro, my screen, there's got to be something wrong with one of these wires, man. Was that like an easy breezy, beautiful cover girl type of fight for Joe? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know? And then a boost, you know, he finished the boost and shit like that, but a boost was fucking throwing him around in round 1. And a boost is a known gasser, especially going against somebody with that strength and physicality. So it is what it is. But come on, man. Joe is what Joe is. You know, like I said, heavy-handed, good wrestler. I don't think his entries are anything too crazy. I think Izzy's footwork is going to be able to control that. Izzy has made a fucking career defending takedowns. Come on now. Come on. What are we doing, man? I know he's 36. He's probably lost a step. If Pyfer is just able to get takedowns at will here, I'd be shocked. And I think that'd be a clear inclination that Izzy's not one step past it, maybe 2 or 3, you know? So that's how I feel, man. No action right now, but if the night's going well, maybe the price gets better. I like the Izzy side. Izzy by decision, like I said, is a very interesting number. And, yeah, man, that's how I feel. Very, like I said, very compelling main event, man. I'm still very confused by this fight because I can for sure see Joe just catching him, you know? And Izzy loves to fucking hand fight too. Like, that's a lot of his defense. I want to control your lead hand. I want to grab your fucking hands. You know, when you're throwing punches at me, I'm looking to fucking catch him. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that versus Joe. You know, that leaves you susceptible, open to counters, open to hooks, and that's Joe's game. That's Joe's world right there. So, yeah, man. That's what concerns me. Maybe a live bet, but you might miss out. You know, you might miss out on the opportunity. Izzy might dominate round 1 via volume and distance striking, and then you lose the opportunity. So, yeah, is Joe special? Like, is Joe a championship caliber fighter? I don't think so. And despite his age and people thinking he's washed, I still think you need to be a championship level fighter to beat Izzy. You know, that's what Imavov is. Clearly shown that. Might be next in line. If not next after next. You know, or no, Imavov has a fight, right? I think, I might be wrong, I don't know. But Imavov has proven he's at that championship level. Sean Strickland, former champ. Pereira, obviously we know what he's doing. So, yeah, man, very good main event. And that wraps it up, man. 13 fight card for UFC Seattle. Very good card in my opinion. In front of a big crowd, we love to see that. And good fights littered throughout the card. I mean, the second fight of the night is fucking Ricky Simone and Adrian Yanez. So that tells you all you need to know, man. Very exciting card. But we got more for you. Like I promised at the top of the stream, we got some lottos prepped for you guys. So I know the people love this. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. First lotto for UFC Seattle is a decision plus, if you will. A little decision plus lotto. 4 legs. I use the boost I had on Novig. You guys should have some boost, whether it's on FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever you use, Hard Rock. Should be some boosts available. But Yanez by decision. We talked about that fight. We talked about all these fights, obviously. Yanez by decision. Gabriela Fernandez by decision. Macy Barber by decision. And then I added in Navajo Sterling money line. I know it's minus 635, but whatever the fucking correlation did, the pre-boosted odds, it went from like 27 to 1 to 33.5 to 1. So that's a big jump just adding, minus 635. And, like I said before, Navajo is my most confident money line spot of the card. Fucking hot take there. But yeah, man, love this. $23 to win exactly a rack. So that's destiny right there, man. The fact that I added Navajo and it was able to get me to a spot where it pays out exactly 1,000, like that's fucking destiny right there. That is destiny. And if we do get to the co-main and this is still live and we get to the Macy Barber fight, easy hedge. You already got 23 to win 1,000. I personally don't give Macy really any finishing equity, so I think it's a fairly easy hedge. You bet Alexa Grasso money line at plus money, guarantee yourself hundreds of dollars if you're using these unit sizes, and then it's easy peasy, and it's easy fucking peasy. So little 42 to 1, 43 to 1 decision plus lotto, absolutely love it. I should have been thinking ahead, and I should have put a link in the chat. I got y'all next time. I know y'all love that shit. Next time I'll have a link ready and I'll put it in the chat for you guys. So yeah, that's lotto number 1 for UFC Seattle. Yanez, Fernandez, Barber all by decision, and then Sterling money line added in there to add some juice. And second lotto of the night, little round robin action. I like running these, taking the biggest plus money spots or spots that I think have a ton of value, putting them together, round robining them. I love it. So we got Thainora KO. We talked about that. McKinney submission round 1 plus 380. Mansour by points plus 430. Michael Chiesa KO. We talked about that one. And Alexa Grasso by submission. We didn't talk about that one in that breakdown, which is my mistake. But yeah, man. Obviously, we talked about what Macy wants to do. Macy wants to get close, get to your body, take you down. And what I did mention is I do think Alexa's BJJ is better than Macy. So that tenacity and that aggressiveness from Macy, you love to see it, but that's also going to open you up to make mistakes. And, we've seen what happens. One of the most legendary moments in the history of the Octagon probably is Valentina making one mistake on the feet and paying for it with her belt. You know what I'm saying? So I think it could be a situation, Macy gets her down. Maybe she's in her guard. Macy's just looking to fucking pound her face in. Donkey Kong pounding her face in. Maybe Alexa can throw something up, attack some things. So plus 1,300, 13 to 1. I think that's a wide price, man. I think that's a very, very wide price and worth a dabble. I might play it straight. I haven't played it straight yet. I might play it straight, but we're definitely going to throw one in here. So if any combination of these hit, if any 2 of these hit, we profit massively. And that's what we're looking for. So I love every single one of these legs. I think every single one of these legs have value. I think they can be played straight. I think they have enough value for that. But yeah, man, a little spicy round robin for the boys. Yeah, man. So that does it. I'll give you guys a second if you guys do want to tell. Obviously, this will be available for playback and for rewind for the next hour and a half before the card starts. So yeah, man, get these in. Obviously, a round robin is more expensive than a regular lotto. You know, we put fucking 0.2 units on the first lotto. This is a bit more expensive, but a bit safer as well, too. So just looking for two, man. Just looking for two. We played Thainara KO. We played Chiesa KO. And we're probably going to play McKinney sub round 1 all straight. So we played all of those straight. So hopefully we profit off of those. But yeah, man. All you can eat buffet tonight. All you can eat buffet. We got straight bets. We got big plus money fight props. We got parlays. We got round robins. Everything your little fucking heart can desire. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. We've been live for like an hour and a half. So decent length stream. Yeah, man, on your way out, hit that like button. If you're watching, if you missed it live and you're watching on replay, hit that like button on your way out. Comment your favorite fight, your favorite bet. Any questions, any thoughts you guys have about this amazing UFC Seattle card. And yeah, man, we're looking for a bounce back. We had an amazing week 2 weeks ago for UFC. We had a losing card last week, so we're looking to bounce back and absolutely fucking destroy these books and have a good time while doing it. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. And yeah, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed. We're going to do 2 streams next week, unless barring, you know, me dying or fucking deathbed shit. But we're going to do 2 streams next week. MLB is in full swing. I'm not betting it yet. I don't like betting MLB. I don't like betting a lot of sports when they first start. So we're going to give MLB a week or 2, let some data pile up, and then we'll be knee deep in that shit as well. But yeah, man, I will see you guys early next week for another stream. Until then, have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. Good luck on this UFC Seattle card. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you.